Welcome to the third episode of the Milari's Things Knitting podcast. I hope you're well and I hope you will enjoy this content. Today is the 15th of July 2023 and I'm coming to you from what used to be 10 minutes ago a very sunny Switzerland, but right now it's getting really cloudy and I can even see a little bit of rain, so I hope we are not getting a storm, because otherwise it will get really noisy on the window, because it's a window like this. So yeah, and also I'm very warm even though there's no sun anymore. So yeah, I will try to stay cool. So you can find me on Instagram as milaris.things, and that's about it. Today I'm gonna talk about what I'm wearing, my whips. I have two whips. No, my finished objects. I have two finished objects and one whip. Wow, I cannot count. One whip. It's starting to rain. Okay, we should be okay. And I don't have any acquisitions, but I will talk about future cast on that I'm actually probably gonna cast on tonight or tomorrow. So yeah, that's it. So let's get into things. No, first you will find links about everything I talk about today down in the description box below, and I will also include notes on everything I talk about directly on the screen. So if I cannot pronounce something correctly, which is probably gonna happen, it will be written on the screen directly. I will also put my measurements down in the description box at the bottom, if you're interested. And that's it. So now, let's get into it. First, what I'm wearing is the Camisole number 5 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, which I knit last winter, so just this past winter actually. So I've had it for a little bit more than 6 months and it's really one of my most worn garments. I really love it. I really like it. I knit it in Berry Natural, which is a base by Woolberry Fiber Company. It's a 100% non-superwash merino. I was about to say blend, but it's not a blend because it's just merino. So it's a merino yarn, which is really soft. I think some people think that non-superwash yarns can be scratchy, which of course it can, but this one is absolutely not. And I am sensitive to scratchy stuff, so yeah, I can really recommend. This is the colorway Seashore, which was a pre-order from last summer, from the Coastal collection. This colorway was one that has had the most success, so they did a new pre-order again, maybe 1 week ago, if you wanted to get some more. So I missed out on it because I have already so many pieces knit in this colorway. I did not need any more, but I really wanted to buy more, but I behaved. So yeah, this is the yarn I used. I used one single skein of fingering weight yarn, and I used every last bit of it. I knit the body until like around here, and then I knit the edgings, and then I finished the skein on the body. So I did one modification. I added some waist shaping, because since I had only one skein and I wanted to get the most length I could, and also because I prefer waist shaping anyway, I did some decreases which are not in the pattern. Speaking of the pattern, I knit size 1, and when I knit it, it was not size inclusive at all. I think there were like 3 sizes, which is like, why? It's really not that complicated, and I know it wouldn't be so hard to grade, but now it has been graded to larger sizes. It's still not going to the usual standard for being really called size inclusive, but it's way better than before. And also, it's designed to have a lot of negative ease anyway, so I guess you could go farther. And I think the last one, I'm gonna put it on the screen what is the size range, because I don't know on the top of my head. But yeah, it's much better than before. But still, I'm not very comfortable with the fact that it still doesn't go to the end of the size range. But I hope one day it will. Maybe she's doing it pieces by pieces, I don't know. We shall see. The other piece of knitting I'm wearing is this thing, which is just a white ribbon. I'm gonna take it off for you. It's just a ribbon I knit with some leftovers I had. There is no pattern. There is no pattern for this, I just winged it. I cast on at one end with like 4 stitches, and then I increased on one side. No, this is the decrease side. I increased on one side, then I knit straight. I had like 16 stitches or something like that. 2 times 16. Then I decreased and I knit straight, and then I increased again, knit straight, decreased, bound off. So I used a mix of 2 yarns, one of which is Nutiden, which is an unspun yarn in a white colorway. It was called Ornithogalum something. It's a color from 2 years ago, I think, but they put out some white yarns pretty often, maybe every 2 months, so it's really not hard to get. And I held it with white mohair from Lang yarns. It's the mohair Lux or something. And both of these were leftovers from a sweater. The first sweater I knit with unspun yarns, and yeah, I just wanted to finish the yarn, so that's what I did with it. And I used, I think, 20 grams of Nutiden and 10 grams of mohair on 3.5 millimeters needles. I knit it with a magic loop. And yeah, that's it. That's what I'm wearing. So now for the finished objects, I have one massive that I'm really happy about. And it is the No Sweatshirt by Park Williams from Park and Knit on Instagram. And as you can see, it's big. It's absolutely not suited for the weather right now. I'm way too hot. But yeah, I just finished it now. And I will talk about this later. There is a reason for that. I just didn't want to forget about talking about it, so I left it there. So yeah, this is the No Sweatshirt by Park and Knit. I knit the size 1, and I used 2 different yarns. 3. Let's say 3. The first, that's on the raglan increases and on the beginning of the body and the sleeves, is the Corriedale Sock Base by Woolen Twine in the colorway Aurora. It's a fingering weight that I had double. I had 300 grams of that, and then I didn't have enough, so I bought some more yarn, which is the Natural Sock Base by Woolly Mammoth Fibre from Ireland. It's kind of a very similar base in the shape. It's a fingering weight 2-ply high twist yarn, and both of them are naturally dyed. And the one from Woolly Mammoth, I bought light green and light purple that I marled together to get approximately the same effect as the base yarn, which was white variegated yarn with light purple and light green. But since I couldn't get more of this yarn from Yule, from Woolen Twine, I asked I asked her, and she couldn't do any more of that because the base is discontinued. So yeah, I had to find something else. But I think the colors are okay. The hoodie is also done with the Woolly Mammoth yarn, which is the new yarn. I really didn't have anything left from the original yarn, so I couldn't marl the hoodie. At first, I was really not sure it was going to work because the difference is really noticeable at the junction. But actually, when I'm wearing it and we are seeing it from afar, which is probably your case right now, it just looks like the hoodie is a little bit darker and maybe more gray because the green and the purple just blend together and look gray. So actually, I think it looks fine. I should put it on, but I am sweating. Just because I have it on me like this. Now the sun is out again, so yeah, Maybe I'll put it on, maybe not. I don't know, I'm too warm, I'm sorry. That's for the sweater in itself. And then I had some leftover from Holland Mills. It's the Meara base. It's the colorway is darkened room, and it's a gray, medium gray, which actually I thought it looked like the hoodie seen from afar, or any piece of the sweater where I am marling the two green and purple yarns together. It just looks grey, so I thought it would be fitting to put a real grey in there so that, I don't know, it could speak with the blended grey or whatever. So yeah, the hoodie is knit with the two colors, and then I marled those two colors in the sleeve from here to here approximately, and then I did the cuff, the end of the sleeve and the cuff with the light green and light purple, same on the other sleeve, and at the end of the body, I think the fade begins like, you can actually see a line here. I'll talk about that after this. But yeah, I began the fade like here, and then I finished the body until I had no base yarn first, and then I ran out of the light green before the light purple, because it's normal, skins are not exactly the same length anyway, so I had a few meters less of the green. And then when I ran out of the green, I continued, because I had two skeins of the purple, I have one left here. I used the purple held double to do a folded over brim. So the end here is only in purple. The reason I did that, because the pattern calls for a ribbing here too, like the sleeves. And the reason I did that is because I don't like ribbing. I don't know, I have a problem with ribbing at the bottom of garments. Since I wanted a cropped silhouette, I just thought that the way a sweatshirt like this would look would be better if it was like, I don't know if you can see what I mean, but like you have a full sweatshirt with the ribbing at the bottom and on the sleeves, and you cut it, and you get a cropped sweatshirt, but then there is no ribbing here, it's just rolling on itself, or I don't know. And I wanted to get this look. But I had a little bit too much yarn, which is weird. And the cropped silhouette went a little bit too far, because I just continued knitting without really looking what I was doing until I ran out, and then it was a little bit too long. So now I'm a little bit in between the cropped silhouette and the lengthy, or the normal lengthy silhouette. So I should just put it on. Yeah, bear with me, I'm gonna die for you. Okay. So, yeah, my hip bones are here, so it is cropped actually, no, it's okay. So, can you see the chopped off sweater silhouette I was going for? Because the sleeves are way longer. So yeah, that's what I wanted, and that's why I did the folded over brim. And I mentioned this line here. It's so annoying, because what happened is, I'm sorry for the sound of the road, I hope it's not too loud, but yeah, it's too warm for me to close the window, so yeah, you have to bear with it, sorry. Yeah, actually the sweater is in reverse stockinette, but you are knitting in stockinette for obvious reasons, which means you are knitting with this side out. And I completely forgot that I was about to flip the sweater inside out when I was knitting, and since I marled 3 different yarns, actually 4, because I had 2 threads of the original yarn and 2 threads of the new one, I had to carry the floats from one row to the other while I was marling them, and so I had this line of floats, and I don't know, I was so proud of myself, because I was doing it so that on the right side you absolutely couldn't see any line. This line is the end I wove in, but when the end wasn't woven in, you could see absolutely no join line or no jog line, because of the way I don't know, I just did a good job, but I did it on the wrong side of the sweater, because I forgot I had to flip it inside out. And there is the same line on the sleeves, you can kind of see it here. It's still not terrible, but it could be so much better if I had just remembered to put the floats on the outside, inside of the shirt. But I forgot. And also I woven all my ends as I knit, so I just chop them in the stitches as I knit them using the weave and Steven method. But I did that on the wrong side of the sweater, which was becoming the right side. So when I flipped the sweater, I was like, oh, all my ends are showing. So I had to unweave all my ends, take them to the other side, and then weave to the stockinette side, which is why now you have those lines here. But yeah, I'm just not gonna weave any end next time because yeah, it took so long. But anyway, now it's done. And if I try to put on the hood, I think it looks great. Well, I have a ponytail, so it looks a bit bulky, but yeah, I'm very happy about it. And I am sweating, so I'm gonna take this off right away. And yeah, so for this is actually a trick I use when I block anything that has a folded over hem, which is almost everything I knit, because I just love folded over hems, brims, whatever. And when I block them, I take a really long cable needle with one needle, doesn't need to be any size, just a needle. This one is 4 millimeters, US size 6, and I just thread it through the fold. And when I pin the sweater down or the piece down to block it, I will put a pin. I will try to catch the cable under the pin and tug it down so that it will open the fold to the max, because otherwise it's gonna have a tendency to roll on itself and actually get shorter and get and get bulkier. So yeah, that's what I do to help with that. And I just left the needle in there to not forget to talk about it. So yeah, now I have a perfect sweater. I'm really happy about it. I was really not sure for the fade and the colors because it looked weird, but it looked weird because I was looking at it like this, and of course you can see the difference when you're looking from too close, but seen from afar, it's perfect. And I'm so relieved it's done now. But I have an ugly line in the middle of the sweater and I can't do anything about it, so maybe, I don't know, maybe I will knit a pocket, like a kangaroo pocket, and put it on here. But I don't have any yarn left for sure. Maybe I can use some grey, but this yarn is discontinued too. Everything discontinued in my life, so I don't know. I will probably just leave it like there and say it's a design feature or something. I'm gonna remove this, I'm too hot. For the modifications, I did a lot actually, because I knew I was playing yarn chicken, so I changed kind of everything. The cast on and raglan increases, I didn't change much. I just changed the end because I wanted it to be a tiny bit longer, so I changed a little bit of that. Then I changed my stitch counts for the body and the sleeves, and I changed the decrease rates for the body. I changed the hem, as I mentioned, and I completely changed the decrease rate for the sleeves because apparently I have big arms. I do have big forearms, that's for sure. So I think I did like, the pattern has you decreasing at the same rate for the whole sleeve, but I did, I think maybe decreasing 2 stitches every 15 rows for more than half of the sleeve until there, I think. Then every 10 rows for 3 times, and then every 8 rows 2 times. And I have a perfect fit. I'm not gonna put it on again, obviously. But yeah, I'm really happy for the sleeve. But it really doesn't look like what's in the pattern. But yeah, it's better like this for me. Am I forgetting something? Oh yeah, I did something I always do when I'm sewing down anything. Like for the hood, you are supposed to pick up at the edge of the hood, knit some stockinette, and then fold it over and sew it down on the inside to get a channel for the cords. But what I do, every pattern tells you to bind off the stitches and then sew it down, or bind off while sewing down to the stitches. And what I do is I just keep the live stitches on the needle, I don't bind them off, and then I cut a thread that's around 2 times the length I want to bind off. And then I will just whip stitch the live stitches to the pickup stitches, or to the pickup line from the, to the pickup line. And that way, first I don't have the bulk of the bind off, and I don't have the unstretchiness of the bind off, because usually that's the problem, especially when you do a folded over collar, and you bind off and sew down the stitches, then the bind off is too tight, and then you cannot pass your head through the opening, and it's really annoying because you have to take everything out and pick up the stitches again, and just don't bind off and sew down the live stitches, and it's okay, and it's still really stretchy and it's nice. And I did the same for the hem. I just sew down the live stitches to the, not the pearl bumps actually, because it's reverse, so to the V's of the fabric, and it's still really stretchy. And yeah, you don't need to bind off when you have to sew things down. And that's it. Oh yeah, one thing I did is I decreased 1 stitch every 10 stitches on the fold, because the inside of the fold is inside. So it needs to be a little bit smaller in circumference, otherwise the hem will be flaring out. You could just change the needle size, and so that all your circumference is gonna be smaller too, but I didn't have a smaller needle size with me, so I just did some decreases. And now the hem is straight. So yeah, that's it. For the other finished object, it's gonna be much smaller. It's this. It's just a scrunchie, a hair scrunchie. I had some leftover yarn from Outline Tank by Jessie May that I finished 2 weeks ago. And it was a little bit too much yarn to put in my granny square blanket, so I decided to knit this with the yarn, but I still have quite a bit left. So this was just improvised. I think I used 3mm needle. I cast on with a backwards loop cast on 140 stitches. And I use this cast on method because it's really stretchy and it's easy to do. And it's not like a long tail or a German twisted cast on where you need to have a long tail and you have to calculate beforehand how long your tail is gonna be, or you don't calculate and you just go it by chance, and then it's too short and you have to do it again, or it's too long and you have to cut a long thread, and I don't like that, so I just use backwards loop cast on. And also it's less bulky, so for a project like this I actually graft the live stitches at the end. I knit 35 rows, and then instead of binding off and then joining together while binding off, I grafted using a mix between the Kitchener stitch and the whip stitch. It was kind of a Kitchener stitch actually, with the cast on edge. And since the backwards loop is really not bulky at all, there is also no seam line when I touch it like this. It's really flat, which I like, and also it's almost invisible. It would be invisible with any technique of cast on, with the way I do the grafting anyway, but yeah, it lays flat and I like that, so that's a scrunchie. My only whip for this time is almost done. I cast it on the same day that I cast on the scrunchie, and I plowed through it through the week, but I had almost finished it. I could have finished it this morning. I'm left with only this yarn. I have only this yarn left, but yeah, I didn't. So this is the Simplistic Rib Cami by Leah Luke, I think. And it's just a cami. It's a simple camisole. It's a ribbed camisole, which I wanted to cast on for years. since it came out, but yeah, I didn't find the time nor the right yarn. But now I decided it was the right time. The yarn I used is West Yorkshire Spinners Blueface Leicester DK base. It's 100% British wool, Blueface Leicester, obviously, and DK. I don't know if it's superwash or not. It is not written, or I don't know. BFL is a little bit different than Merino, and I'm less used to it, so I'm not exactly sure. Doesn't really matter anyway. It's nice, and I like knitting with it. So yeah, what happens is I had 3 skeins of this yarn. I bought 3 skeins when I was in Korea last year, but I had not really any project in mind, and when I got home I was like, I don't know what to do with this yarn. So I cast on t-shirt, or maybe a shape kind of similar as this one, but with little caps on the shoulders. And I used 1.5 skein, so I was left with 1.5 skein without knowing what to do. And I had this pattern, which is DK weight and uses 2 skeins, but I figured I like cropped stuff, and I usually do waist shipping, which saves me some yarn, so I figured I could do it. So I did, and I have almost finished it. But the reason I didn't, because this is like 30 minutes of knitting left, the reason I didn't finish it is because the other piece I mentioned is okay, fitting wise, it's really nice, but there is no short rows in the back, or there is nothing really lowering the front of the t-shirt, of the top, compared to the back, or highering the back. So the fit is weird, and it's kind of choking me, and I cannot stand it. It's a high neck collar, and it just makes me angry whenever I wear it. So I have to redo the collar, but it's knit top down, so I have to unpick or just cut through it and unpick it and reknit again. But yeah, I finished it like 6 months ago, and it's been 6 months since I need to do it, and I never do it. I think it would take me maximum 1 hour, but I don't. And I know that this modification will use less yarn than the first color, so I will be left with some leftovers, which I want to use in this piece, because I don't want to have like 2 grams of yarn laying around and crinkly yarn, so I want to use it in this one. So I am waiting to unpick that neckline and reknit it to have the leftover, to put it in there and finish this one. Maybe it's weird, I don't know. I just hate leftovers, and since I have the opportunity to use every last bit of yarn in this thing, since I'm knitting it top down, I want to finish the yarn, so now I have I have to go back to this other piece and correct it. Anyway, for this one, I am gonna try it on, but I'm too hot, so I am trying to push it back, but I will do it. Okay, let's go. Okay. Oh my god. So, it's actually the first time I tried on since I joined in the round. I was just knitting on it and didn't want to put the needle out, to take the needle out to try it on, but now it's done. I'm glad it fits. But anyway, it's ribbing, so of course it was gonna fit. Wow, it's so hot. I don't think it's superwash yarn, or I don't know, but I'm dying. But yeah, the fit is perfect. And yeah, you've probably noticed, but I never wear any bra, so I don't have any problem with that, with the bra straps showing or anything. And it's fitting nice. I did the waist shaping I mentioned. I did 2 decreases every 3 rows, which is 4 decreases every 6 rows. I mean in the ribbing pattern, because you need to decrease 4 rows to get back into the pattern, the 1 by 1 pattern. And yeah, it's fitting nice. And I think I'm gonna get exactly the crop length I can wear at work or in places I cannot show my belly with the yarn I have left. So it's perfect. And yeah, I'm really happy. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention that the pattern is called the Simplistic Rib Cami, and there is nothing simplistic about it. I'm not saying it was complicated. It wasn't. The instructions are very straightforward and easy to follow, but there are so many different increase rates on those triangles, and it's different for the front and the back. And yeah, the shaping is really thoughtful and really well made, and it looks as if it was just a simple increase to every 2 rows or something like that. It's absolutely not. And yeah, the way the increases are placed on the wrong side and the right side, it's really well written. I'm really pleased with this piece, and I will obviously have to wait for fall to wear it because it's too warm. I knew it would happen, but I wanted to finish that yarn because I wanted it out of my stash before using the brand new skeins I had bought lately. So now this is almost done, and I'm gonna change because I am dying. This piece is actually not really fitting for summer weather either, because of the high neck and the fact that it's non-superwash yarns, but it's still better than DK weight. I just noticed I forgot to show you the back, but you will see it in the next episode when it's blocked, so you'll have to wait. I am not putting this thing back on. So that's it for my only whip, and now, as I said, I don't have any acquisitions, but I'm gonna talk to you about my next cast on, which is gonna jump on my needles as soon as I finish the Simplistic Rib Cami, which will be tonight or tomorrow. And this is the yarn for the next project, which is the Moonset Tea. I have this thing saved in my Instagram account since it came out. It's just so beautiful and so my jam. I look like I only wear cropped cami, but I don't. I also like super big oversized t-shirts with flowy fabrics, and this one is so perfect, and I really love the color detail, the neckline detail. But yeah, I don't know, I just didn't do it. So now, I think maybe 2 months ago, this yarn brand, which is La Nivendol, it's an Italian brand. They did a pre-order for new colorways on this base, which is the base Estiva. And as the name suggests, it's a blend fitted for summer garments. So it's a blend of 70% Abruzzese wool. I'm supposed to speak Italian, but I do not know this word, so no. And 30% unbleached French linen. So it's very lightweight, very drapey, and it's perfect for summer garments, as they say. The colorway is Poseidone, and it's one of the new colorways they put out for this year. And I bought 4 skeins of it. It's it's a light fingering weight. It's 50 gram skeins, and oh, interesting. I thought it was 250 meters per skein, but it's actually 300. So it's almost like a lace weight. But yeah, very light fingering. The suggested gauge is 30 stitches per 10 centimeters, and the pattern gauge is 26. But for once, I did a gauge swatch, which is still drying, and it's gonna be dry in no time with this weather. But it's here, and sorry, the yarn is the same color as my mats. Can you tell what's my favorite color? I don't know, maybe there's a scheme. So yeah, but the gauge is spot on this. I use 3mm needles. The pattern suggests 3.25, but I had the 3mm out because I just finished this, which wasn't 3mm, so I just took the needles without thinking. I noticed it wasn't a good one, but I figured I would just try, and it works. So happy about that. Gauge is good. This is obviously knit flat, but I know there is not much difference between my flat knitting and in the round knitting anyway, gauge-wise. I don't have rowing out either, so I think it will work out perfectly. And this makes me think that I completely forgot to mention something about this one. Maybe you noticed when I put it on, but there is a line, there is a difference. You can see it better here. You can actually tell there is a line between when I knit flat and when I knit in the round. That's not wearing out, obviously, because it's ribbing, so you cannot really. But what's happening is very interesting, is actually my knits are leaning one way and my pearls are leaning the other way. But they are the same size, which means that when I'm knitting ribbing flat, I have a zigzag pattern, but when I'm knitting in the round, it's just straight, because they are all leaning on the same direction. So it's weird, because then it looks like there is a pattern here that's not there, and I hope it will work out. I think it will, because it's not the first time I'm knitting. Like, this one is also knit flat here and then in the round here, and there is no difference, there is no zigzagging or whatever. No, there's that. So I think it will block out, but I just found it really funny to see. So yeah, I wanted to show that to you this week, because next time it will probably be finished and blocked, so not visible anymore. So yeah, I think I said everything. Oh yeah, one thing I noticed is, you probably cannot see it on the video, this skin is a little bit darker than this one. Tiny bit. I couldn't see it when it was skinned. So maybe one of these is darker too, I don't know. But I'm glad I noticed, because otherwise I would have absolutely not alternate skins while knitting. I would have just begun the new skin straight away, and I would probably have a line in the middle of my t-shirt. So I'm glad I saw it. So now I know I will have to fade the new skins when I put them in. So good to know, and be careful. So I think that's it for my projects for today, future plans and finished objects. It was about time. It's sunny again now. There is no sign of clouds anymore. I am not sure when the next episode will be, because I am leaving for vacation soon, and I probably won't have time to film when I'm out. I will go climbing somewhere near Switzerland, probably France or Germany or maybe Italy, I don't know. We are just living with the van and just driving to wherever we want. But yeah, I'm not sure I will be able to film. I will have time to knit, however, so when I come back I will probably have a lot of finished objects. Or maybe not, who knows. One thing I know is that next week I am planning to film a very important thing for me. I mentioned before I had this t-shirt I finished, but the collar is not fitting right, and I need to pick it out, cut it out and knit it again with short rows. But I have a lot of pieces that have those kinds of really small adjustments to do, but I just put it off because I don't want to take time of actually knitting that I enjoy to just correct some older pieces. So I have probably around 10 garments I need to change something. Sometimes it's a really big thing, like I need to take out the whole half of it and knit it again because it's not the right gauge. But sometimes it's just really small stuff, like this collar thing. And next week, I think I will take the time. I will start filming probably Friday night or Saturday early morning. Lay out the pieces I choose to adjust for the weekend or finish, because I have stuff I just need to do really small things to finish, but I don't because like putting buttons, I never do it. And I will try to film the process during the whole weekend. And I hope this will encourage me to tackle the things that are laying around sometimes for years. And I will try to share that with you in the hope that it will be interesting and also that it will encourage you to do the same, because I am sure you also have some lingering whips or just a small garment that has a little thing you need to correct but you are too lazy to do it and you are just putting it off. Do it with me next week. So yeah, that's the next time we are gonna see each other. If you are interested by this video or any other video I will put out, maybe subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that video. You can also, of course, like this one and leave a comment. That helps a lot with the algorithm, as we all know. So I'm gonna leave you here before I die. I don't have a lot of footage for this week, and I think I'll probably put it at the beginning of the video. Maybe. So I will leave you here. I hope you will have a nice week and stay hydrated because it's very hot on many places on Earth right now. Don't forget to drink water. Okay, bye bye!